website that we try to maintain and keep up to date with the latest information around mitochondrial disease, any news or developments on the research side of things, what's happening in the media, etc. So we'd encourage you to check back on that from time to time. And that's a screenshot from yesterday, so it's current, and we just did some updates recently. So that's a resource. There's the address there. If you just search for mitochondrial, actually, our search engine optimization experts have assured you that it comes up very high in the rank there. So the other thing that we've done as a foundation is attend general practitioner education sessions. So these are conferences that are open to general practitioners of medicine, and we have an information booth there and try to inform them or raise their levels of education about mitochondrial disease. So that's another initiative on the education front that we undertake. And another initiative is information days like these. This is a photo from a group in Sydney, and we try to do these at least annually in every major centre, and as our reach broadens, we'll look to increase the numbers of those and the frequencies of those throughout Australia. So we had set ourselves as an organisation a 5-year goal. We're just over 2 years into that, and some of the, again, trying to keep things fairly simple, we targeted some research funding goal, we targeted an awareness goal, and then the other goal we're targeting is to raise the profile of the foundation, which in turn will have benefits to our ability to attract funding to then direct into research or to boost awareness about mitochondrial disease. So this is really when the board meets and when I present to the board, this is the framework within which we operate. So we've got a fairly structured approach to how we're doing things, and I think, and as an example with Don on the board, bringing his business acumen and his experience together, he's helping drive that. We've got a very good board. We've got a representation in the legal side and the business side and the finance side, and then obviously on the scientific and medical side. So as an organisation, our governance is very strong, and that bodes well for the future of the foundation and for the future of the cause really in Australia. So what's next? We did some awareness tracking, and we haven't done one this year yet, but this is a prompted survey, so statistical merit of it, I could shoot a few holes in it, but I think the numbers are way too high. So it suggests that about a third of the population have heard of mitochondrial disease. So that's when they're on the telephone at 6 o'clock, you're trying to get dinner on, you get the kids to bed, and someone rings you and says, would you like to take part in a survey? They say, have you heard of mitochondrial disease? And, yes, go away, might be the answer. But anecdotally, I think that number's a whole lot lower. So out of that, the second question then is trying to qualify what they know about mitochondrial disease, and they're given a couple of options, and it suggests that about half of those, or a little under half of those people, can pick the right answer from a multiple choice of what the symptoms of mitochondrial disease are. And that's not good, right? I mean, I think those numbers are overstated, but regardless, the numbers are not good. We need to try, and whatever we can do to try to boost awareness generally, to try and help the cause on many fronts. So there's an initiative coming up in September called Global Mitochondrial Disease Awareness Week, and we're doing this in collaboration with other mitochondrial disease organisations around the world. And there's a number of ways that you can get involved, and really it comes down to this grassroots campaigning and what you can do. There's a few ideas there. I'm sure that each of you have got your own ideas, and we would encourage you to participate, to put forward those plans and to come up with some great ways to advocate for mitochondrial disease, to raise the awareness of mitochondrial disease, from writing a letter to your local politician. They love to see that. That's been very successful actually, so don't underestimate that. Just introducing yourself, saying it's mitochondrial disease awareness week coming up. We hope they're aware. We've got some green ribbons here. If anybody wants to get hold of some, you can take some and give them to your politicians, give them to whoever you like. And so that's been very effective. Again, contact your local media, tell them your story. The stories are a very powerful thing. Telling you, Don's story was really, really powerful. Everybody who's going through this journey has got a really powerful story that will engage people. So if you're up for that, then go for it and contact your local media, and we can help you with that again. So This campaign has a presence again on social media. If that's your thing, please go for it, get involved with that. And again on the web. We've got another couple of avenues of getting involved. One's called Team Mito. If you are able to exercise, or you're into your fitness runs, or you've got family members who are exercise freaks, we'd encourage you to join Team Mito, which is a virtual team. You can get the t-shirt and participate in an event. Coming up on next weekend in Perth, there's a group of 100 runners who are participating in the Perth City to Surf. They'll be wearing bright green Team Mito t-shirts. And on the same weekend at Albert Park.
Yeah, there's a walk around Albert Park. I haven't put on Facebook yet or whatever.
Late mail.
That's a 10:30 at Albert Park.
You'll cover that as well. Yep.
Website.
Yep. So again, another way to get involved and fly the Team Mito flag. And we're talking to a woman at the moment who's looking. She's trying to get funding to ride a bike to the South Pole, and if she can pull that off, she's going to carry a little Team Mito flag for us as well. So we'll get there on the South Pole. It'll be great.
The first 1,000 kilometres would be the toughest, though, wouldn't it?
Probably, yeah. Last year, we again largely through the organisational skills of Joanne Edwards here, we hosted an Energy for Life walkathon, which was a little less perhaps on the elite athlete side of things and on the more accessible side of things, to have a community event of a 5-kilometre walk. So we're looking to do those again throughout over time, and again we could increase the frequency of these. If you're living in not in Melbourne but maybe regionally, and you want to put on a walkathon in your community, we welcome that as well. We can provide you hopefully with a little bit of help and a bit more skill as we learn how to do it right, in how to do that. And look, you can just go crazy and wear t-shirts and take a photo of yourself in a really cool spot. Sorry, the last talk I did was in Sydney, so that's from Sydney. But I'm pretty sure Melbourne's got some nice spots, hasn't it? Sorry, okay. In terms of trying to raise awareness, here's three. We'll give you 3 quick tips. I think I must love the number 3. 3 tips. What can I say? I want to tell people about mitochondrial disease. What can I say? What are 3 interesting points? So point number 1 is that 1 in 200 people, which is about or over 110,000 Australians, carry a genetic mutation that puts them at risk of developing mitochondrial disease or of passing that on to their family. That's pretty compelling. It's not the number of patients, let's be clear, who have the disease. It's the number of patients, or necessarily who are symptomatic, but it's the number of patients who are known to be at risk. This number we adapted recently. We used to have the number of 1 in 250, and it's increased up to 1 in 200, just with some more developments on the research side. So that's a pretty good point. 1 in 200 people are at risk of developing, or are carrying a genetic mutation that puts them at risk of developing mitochondrial disease. So point number 2 is that there's 1 Australian born each week who will develop a severe or life-threatening form of mitochondrial disease. 1 a week, 50 a year, those are the numbers. That's an easy one to remember, 1 a week. This is little Dion. Unfortunately, Dion passed away from Lee's disease at age about 4. That puts a face to the disease. It's an amazing thing. And point 3, there's currently no cure, that the treatment options are quite limited, that research is vital. So if you wanted to talk to your politician, this disease is pretty common. There's a child born every week who will develop a life-threatening form of the disease. That's in Australia. And number 3, we need to do more research. 3 pretty compelling points there. And who didn't love the Curiosity Show? Maybe I'll show my ad too. As part of today, I also wanted to officially table or announce the AMDF's position statement in relation to some initiatives that are happening in the UK about some innovative genetic treatments at an IVF level with the intention to prevent mitochondrial disease. The science itself and the technique of what's going on is there's a fair bit to it. I would encourage you all to go through to the AMDF's website to read the AMDF's position statement about that. But to summarise, the AMDF is very supportive of research that could help alleviate the suffering that patients and their families of mitochondrial disease can and do endure. We believe that this is research that should be that it should be encouraged to continue and to proceed. Basically, in a nutshell, what it's trying to do is, in a maternally inherited form of mitochondrial disease, is looking at a way of taking out, basically doing a mitochondrial transplant, like a heart transplant. Someone's got a bad heart, putting in a new heart. Where we're looking at the stage of fertilisation of an embryo, is to transplant out the potentially faulty mitochondria in a woman who's known to have mitochondrial disease or faulty mitochondria. So take away the bad mitochondria, put in some good mitochondria, and then use that as the basis for fertilisation to create what is obviously hoped to be a disease-free child. That's the very simplistic term. The science is available on our website. But so we wanted to use today as a forum to announce our position statement that's been developed by our scientific and medical advisory panel and endorsed by the foundation there. So that's just something of note there. And there's some information about how it occurs, etc. And the article is up on the AMDF website right now. So it got up there this morning, so you're the first to hear about it. Another initiative we're working on to be tabled during, or to be released during Mitochondrial Disease Awareness Week, is what's called the Mito Report. This is an initiative of the foundation to try and put a benchmark out there as to what's going on with mitochondrial disease, what it is, what's the problem, what are the calls to action, what are the things that need to happen to better this cause, to address this issue. This will be released, as I said, during Mitochondrial Disease Awareness Week. We will be using that as a tool to approach policymakers, decision makers, influencers, organisations who can support us, etc. So this report will become available. It will become available to you to use. You can use it as part of your information, etc. that comes out. So that's a fairly significant effort on our part to pull that together. And again, the likes of the researchers like David and other individuals who are conducting research are generously contributing their contributions to this report. We've had some development recently with some people who are starting to hear about the cause and have agreed to come on as AMDF ambassadors. So that can help as well in terms of getting the profile of the disease out there in the general public. Actor John Howard, who's from television's All Saints and Packed to the Rafters and Sea Change, has been a supporter of us from day one. He's been fantastic. John is an amazing guy. He actually studied a couple of years of medical school as well, so he knows enough to be dangerous, I think. It's really good. And he's a fantastic supporter of ours. More recently, the two guys at the top there, you may not recognise the one on the left, is a young Australian cricketer by the name of Patrick Cummins. Played one test match for Australia, got Man of the Match award, hit the winning runs against South Africa, has been unfortunately injured ever since, but we hope he comes back to fitness, and we're not allowed to talk about the cricket really at the moment, but we'll see if we can improve on that one. So he's agreed to be an ambassador of ours, and we look forward to using his profile to help further our cause. And again, Jamie, more recently, Jamie Dury has come on board, has a good friend who's discovered she has a child affected by mitochondrial disease, and he's been very great to show his support, and he'll be doing some work with us over Mitochondrial Disease Awareness Week and around Stay in Bed Day, so that's pretty exciting. The woman on the bottom left, her name's Kate Ritchie, and while I can't officially say she's an ambassador, she has been very ambassador-like to us. She is an actor who recently reappeared on television's Home and Away in her character as Sally, and in her character there, the story is that Sally's child has mitochondrial disease, and she's going through this struggle of what that looks like. So that's a story that's on air at the moment on Home and Away, and it goes for about the next 6 or so weeks, which is an amazing boon for awareness of mitochondrial disease. The phone has been ringing more often. The number of hits on our website has gone up amazingly since this stuff went to air. So interestingly, I wish we would have come up with the idea of doing some product placement. We were more reactive than that, but that's been quite amazing for raising of awareness levels. And Kate Ritchie's also been very generous in further communications in support of the cause through her social media channels, etc. So we hope to bring Kate Ritchie on as an official ambassador one day. And as Don had mentioned, our major fundraising and awareness activity is coming up in September at the end of Awareness Week, and it's called Stay in Bed Day. And Stay in Bed Day exists on a couple of levels. One is to try to have a little bit of fun with it. This is often a confronting issue we're trying to deal with, but